I read this and I have a lot to say about it. Ready? Great. Also, this is a fake tattoo and it's coming off, so don't judge me too harshly, please. So this is the sequel to Arabella of Mars. More Britishness, more awkward racism, and more suspension of disbelief. Except this time, there's a useless love triangle that nobody asked for. I hope you're settled in and comfortable and ready to enjoy some absolute crap. Spoilers ahead, in case that wasn't already obvious. The first book was very annoying, but at least the sci-fi aspect repelled most of the boredom that came creeping around the corners, at least for me. This book is much more difficult to slog through. So basically, Arabella and the Battle of Venus follows the same formula as its predecessor. Arabella, who is 19 now, finds out that someone she loves is in danger on another planet. She boards a ship to travel there. Shenanigans ensue. She develops a crush on the captain. We'll get to that in a minute. She arrives on the planet in one piece. Racist things happen for some ungodly, unnecessary reason. Jesus Christ, please make it stop. She helps solve a big, bad, big, nasty problem for everybody. There's another space battle. A few people die, and the story ends with everybody living happily ever after. Blah, 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 blah. Arabella is engaged, by the way. She has a fiancé. It is her first love interest, from the first book.
Stop it. Get some help.
One of you fabulous people on my last video said that it's like the author read the John Carter of Mars series and didn't stop to consider how badly it's aged. And yes, that is very astute and I would say accurate. It's very similar to John Carter, Tarzan, classic King Kong. It's giving me those vibes. I can smell the stench through my phone screen. Speaking of smells, let's talk romance. Because if there's one person in this book who would sniff your hair uncomfortably, it's the love interest. If I were in this book, I would strangle him with a shoelace. The first book had a super boring love interest with a super alarming age gap. Yeah, David, don't think I've forgotten. But at least he was honest, he was honorable, he was very calm, and yeah, to be fair, in my mind's eye, he was kind of attractive due to those qualities. Hey dude, what? Yes? You know what you could do? What? You could start using the characters' names. They do have names. You're right. Captain Fox is the name of the man who transports Arabella to Venus on his ship, the Touchstone. He knows Arabella is engaged, and yet he continuously crosses her boundaries. He knows Arabella is on a mission to save her fiancé, to whom she is engaged, and yet he still crosses her boundaries. That is so uncomfy, thank you so much. And I was hoping that the young girl written by a man-itis would have faded out by now, but it came roaring back like another wave of COVID, because believe it or not, Arabella is into this. Arabella needs to get to Venus ASAP. Her fiancé is in danger. Well, Captain Fox's route isn't as fast as she would like, so she volunteers, quite firmly, to use her navigational experiences to calculate a more expedient route. Well, Captain Fox doesn't take kindly to being told what to do by a 19-year-old girl who, in all fairness, has never captained a ship, so he offers, and she agrees to, a wager. She can make her calculations, and if she succeeds, he has to sign a contract that says he was bested by a 19-year-old girl. If she fails, she has to give him a kiss.
But I'm not done yet!
Later, he offers, and she agrees, to raising the stakes, so if she loses, she has to not only kiss him, but have dinner with him alone. Hey, buddy. If somebody needs to do something very important that could save the life of their loved one, and you leverage that to get what you want, you're a bad person. Later, they're captured by the French, who have colonized Venus, and she lies to them and tells them that she's already married, so that they will be compelled to house her in the same labor camp as her husband. Only at this point does Captain Fox apologize for his behavior and admit that it would have been unseemly to ask for a kiss and a private dinner with a married woman, because an engaged woman can change her intentions. Arabella thinks this is cute. Now, mind you, in most of this book, Arabella is also being chaperoned against her will by her irritating companion, Lady Corey, who literally tells her that boys are jerks because it's their way of showing how much they like us.
This is a load of barnacles.
You know what? This love triangle does have 3 points: to provide something resembling conflict, to widen the book's spine by half an inch, and to personally irritate me. And on that note, folks, it is time once again to discuss Arabella's B. her bafflingly inconsistent independence. So her brother Michael wants her to be properly chaperoned, and Arabella's like, no, that's a stupid idea, bro, I'm not gonna do it. And Michael's like, oh, yes, you are, try me, ho. And that's how Lady Corey comes into the picture. Well, Arabella hates the idea, but she accepts Lady Corey's company to shut Michael up. And yet, Arabella still submits to Lady Corey's guidance for no solid reason at random intervals. Check it out. So Lady Corey forbids Arabella from interacting with one of her dearest friends, who's a former crew member from the first book, and Arabella is severely annoyed, but she complies anyway, and then just leaves the whole conversation passive-aggressively. This issue is never resolved. In fact, afterwards, Arabella holds the entire crew at a reserved distance because of enforced formality. Even though it's never specified how Corey enforces this, if she does it all, or why Arabella should even care. Sometimes she restrains herself even when Corey is nowhere in the vicinity. Imagine if Mulan was like this. In the beginning, Mulan is very clearly subject to the will of her parents and wants to make them proud, but constantly struggles to balance personal identity and truth with devotion to family. Or Merida. Merida is always at odds with the expectations that her mother tries to throw at her. Well, Merida doesn't give a crap about those expectations. She still genuinely loves her family, and her actions are guided by the immense frustration she feels at never being heard. Neither of these girls are flawless, of course. They make mistakes along the way, and they adapt to certain situations, but both of them have clear motivations for their courses of action. And neither of them sacrifice their principles just to adhere to societal expectations. Arabella just flops back and forth with no clear motivation for doing so. One moment, she follows her instincts and has a sharp retort planned for someone who made an inappropriate comment, and then the next, she's suddenly submitting to the will of the people around her. And none of these people are even her parents, so there's not even the threat of familial intimidation. This is the young woman who beat the crap out of a guy and broke his nose with her bare hands. This is the young woman who quelled a severe episode of civil unrest. Why is she wavering now? The tension between genuine human expression and propriety is very rarely entertaining, and Arabella breaking sexist social protocols lacks catharsis because she just caves over and over and over again. You know what? My appreciation for Arabella's fiancé grew 3 sizes this day because he is probably the most sensible person in the entire story. So her fiancé's name is Captain Singh, and he was captured by the French and sent to a labor camp on Venus, but this was deliberate because he's actually a secret agent for the British government, and he's there to try and find out what the giant project is that the French are working on that could endanger not only the planet Venus, but every other planet in the solar system. So he's there trying to stay alive, keep his cover, and protect his captured crewmates. Then the other characters bumble in and make everything stupid. But is our dear friend David going to stop at just simple stupidity? No. I spy with my little eye a casually used offensive word. Whoop, there's another one. I will not bore you with all the details of the offensive conversations and the events that happen both during the ship's voyage and after they arrive on Venus, but just know that it gets pretty silly. I hate it. I can say with full confidence that there is only one part in the story that I genuinely enjoyed, and that is when Captain Singh and Captain Fox and all the crew members and the whole gang stage a theatrical performance to distract their French captors while they secretly plan an escape. Now, the production that they put on is Twelfth Night, and I have participated in this production myself and seen 2 other versions of it, so I have opinions. First of all, one of the actors trips over his costume, and I don't know why they don't prioritize safety. An hour before the production starts, and they haven't even agreed on where to put the backdrop for Orsino's Palace. I don't think the author has ever actually participated in a single theatrical production. The actors are called into places 60 minutes Arabella before the show was the director and one of the actors, and that's always a terrible idea. So yeah, I found the theater bits to be the most entertaining because I have first-hand experience, so I kind of know what it's like. But also I could just be overly critical because I hate this book. Now, to reiterate, this is the 2nd book in a trilogy. I purchased the trilogy as a bundle because it was cheap, it looked interesting, and I enjoyed the sample that I downloaded. So now I'm stuck with them. I feel like David tried to entertain us with the love triangle and then tripped over his character motivations and then tangled himself in the curtain of his own racism like you do in a Bollywood drama. And I never even described to you the tactless conversation that occurred between Arabella and her black friend. I'm not going to. Anyway, let me think. Things that were redeemable. Oh, the love triangle was actually dispersed. Lady Corey ended up dating Captain Fox. Yeah, so that was That was an interesting development. Oh, there was one line in the entire book that genuinely made me laugh. And it's near the beginning, right after Arabella meets Captain Fox, and he's rallying his men to journey to Venus. And he asks, "Which of you are with me?" And some of them cry out, "Me! Save for an educated few," who called out, "I." That was funny. That was okay. The rest of it was terrible. It's a 2 out of 10. I have to edit this now.